to stand up and say, yes, continue this for the future of our children.
At-risk schools in West Valley are having a hard time keeping their after-school programs running.
Honoring University of Utah student Lauren McCluskey, a vigil was held focusing on domestic violence and the need for change.
The Jewish community here in Utah pays their tributes to their brothers and sisters who died in Pittsburgh. Welcome to Newsline. It's Monday, October 29th. I'm Simeon Toronto.
And I'm Cristina Bolaños. The Jewish community in Utah is responding to the events that occurred in Pittsburgh. In honor of the 11 people who died, the Chabad Community Center in Salt Lake City is holding a vigil tonight.
Newsline reporter Sydney Storr went to the center to speak to the rabbi organizing the vigil.
We will drive anti-Semitism and the hate of any people back to the basement on their computer and away from the open discussions and dialogues around this city, around this state, and around this country.
The attack occurred at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the shooter entered during worship service with an automatic rifle and 3 handguns. We spoke to Rabbi Zippel, the rabbi in charge of the vigil, about how the community here in Utah was affected by the shooting.
So the biggest tribute that we can extend to the memories of the 11 people whose lives were so brutally taken away this past Saturday is to commit to enhance our lives and work double hard, work extra hard on restoring relationships.
The tragedy has left the Jewish community focused on the victims, families, and all those impacted by the attack.
The only way to fight evil and darkness is with light and with love. And what we are expecting is really an overwhelming outpouring of love and support as a reaction to the tragedy that occurred in Pittsburgh this past Saturday morning.
Rabbi Zippel has told us that he's received a numerous amount of text messages and emails showing love and support from not only this community, but those from other faiths.
Look at his text. This just came through right now as I came back to my desk.
The vigil is open to the public and will be held at the Chabad Community Center in Salt Lake City at 6 p.m. For more information, visit jewishutah.com. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Sydney Storr.
The U.S. Attorney wants the death penalty for the man accused of shooting Jewish worshipers.
The fact that this attack took place during a worship service makes it even more heinous. A place of worship is a sacred place.
Robert Bowers is scheduled to appear in court today. He faces a total of 29 federal charges. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady seeks the death penalty for Bowers, but the decision rests with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. All this as members of the Tree of Life Synagogue and politicians are calling for an end to hate crimes.
Moab police are seeking help from the public to locate a person of interest in a homicide. Yesterday morning, police arrived at a trailer park in Moab where a male body was found. Police say multiple individuals were identified as being present at the scene, but they are interested in finding Martin Armenta Verduzco Lopez. Investigators believe he is 30 years old and goes by the street name of Omar. If you have any information, please contact the Moab Police Department. Students and faculty gather at the University of Utah Friday night to remember the life of student Lauren McCluskey. Newsline reporter Taylor Hansen was at the candlelight vigil. Taylor, how was the atmosphere?
It was very solemn. There were people hugging, crying, and comforting each other as they remembered Lauren's life.
Lauren McCluskey, a University of Utah student, was shot and killed last Monday night. The on-campus organization It's On Us had originally planned the event to help bring awareness to domestic violence. They never imagined that they would be remembering the life of a student.
Who plans something like this to happen to a friend?
Lauren was shot by her ex-boyfriend Melvin Rowland when she was walking home from campus Monday night.
And sadly this all could have been avoided. I wish when I went with her to campus police that they would have believed us.
We need to understand that this can happen to anyone. We can't just say it will never happen.
Students, faculty, and family gathered to give support as some of Lauren's closest friends shared stories about her life. They said that she was kind, brave, warm-spirited, and confident.
I think it's really hard to remember somebody who's so alive when I don't get to have her right now.
While honoring Lauren, the vigil emphasized the reality of domestic violence and the need for change.
We also briefly discussed her previous relationship and how scary it is to love somebody who totally fools you.
As former Vice President Joe Biden said to me in a conference call this week, we can do this. We can change the culture. You have the power to end sexual, domestic, dating, and interpersonal violence in one generation.
Lauren's obituary was released on Saturday, announcing that her funeral will be held November 11th in Pullman, Washington. If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, please call 1-800-897-LINK for 24-hour confidential help and support. Back to you.
In just a few minutes, the man suspected of sending more than a dozen mail bombs across the country will appear in court. Cesar Sayoc was arrested Friday after federal authorities said that he sent 14 pipe bombs to Democrats and CNN headquarters. Sayoc faces federal charges that could put him behind bars for up to 48 years. Investigators say Sayoc was easy to find because he left a trail of evidence in his white van where he made the packages. At-risk public schools in West Valley City are having a hard time keeping their after-school programs open. Reporter Berto Sanchez has the story. Berto, what can you tell us?
Many after-school programs are being shut down due to lack of funding. These programs are meant to help many children who come from low-income backgrounds.
For over 8 years, after-school programs have been available for students who need extra help in academics.
I do English tutoring every once in a while and literary magazine. I think it's super helpful for our students because a lot of students need extra tutoring time and they need to make up work. It's also beneficial if kids don't have parents at home if they work late, so they can have a place to stay, a safe place to stay with supervision.
These programs not only involve academic outcome, they help students feel better about themselves and their abilities. They also receive homework help, learn new skills, and participate in art, music, science, and sports.
The purpose of the after-school program is, I'd say, twofold. You know, we are very focused on being able to meet the academic needs of our students. It gives an opportunity for students to get some extra push, some enrichment, some extra support on their academics.
Although these programs have been successful in showing academic improvement, they are on the brink of disappearing due to lack of funding.
It's a community partnership. It's not their taxpayer money. It's a group of board of directors and individuals within a nonprofit corporation that care about the community and want their students to succeed. Parents can let their elected officials know how important this is for their kids. So we need parents to stand up and say, yes, continue this for the future of our children, the future of our country.
These after-school programs are quickly disappearing, and by the end of the school year, 10 programs will stop.
School administrators are only asking parents in local communities to get involved. If you'd like more information on after-school programs and would like to help, please visit the website www.cepforkids.org. Back to you.
Thanks, Berto. Many minorities in Utah have various employment and housing opportunities through the state government.
I did a little research on how minorities are benefiting from these programs and how Utah's rising economy is helping.
Luis wakes up bright and early to go to work, and he does it with a smile on his face. He feels fortunate for having a job, something he does not take for granted. He and his son moved to Utah to start their own construction company. Luis and the rest of his family left Florida because of racial discrimination.
We're just glad to be here in Utah and to have seen our family progress despite the discrimination that we have faced in the past. The economy, it is a good economy that the state currently has that is helping minorities like us to progress little by little.
In 1968, the Fair Housing Act prohibited housing discrimination in the U.S. This eliminated a lot of segregational practices among minorities and housing. Despite the experiences of the Granados family, some minorities in Utah continue to experience discrimination with housing.
It is a problem in the country as a whole as far as Utah goes. I wish we could say that everything's just fine and it's all working great here in Utah, but you know, it even is present here in Utah.
According to Olsen, the state received up to 80 discrimination housing complaints this year for minorities, as well as 539 employment claims.
That number right there, 539, that's basically a new case every day of the week.
But Brigham Young University sociology professor Dr. Jacob Rugg says Utah is doing better than other states.
We know that in Utah it benefits people of all races and backgrounds, that it has a strong economy,
It has lots of construction of homes. It has a very strong tech sector.
We are glad to have made the decision to move to Utah, a state where employment and even housing opportunities for us minorities with low income are plenty.
According to U.S. News & World Report, Utah places first in fiscal stability and is among the top 3 for economy and education, which allows many families like the Granados to prosper.
Leicester City Football Club fans watch a helicopter take off from the field after the soccer game.
Unfortunately, the helicopter didn't get very far. We'll tell you what happened to the helicopter.
This is mile 24 and a half, on what was going to be a very good time until this happened.
Runners at this marathon did not stop despite the bad weather. We'll tell you how they overcame such a huge obstacle.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
How does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Rescuers searching the sea near Jakarta, Indonesia have found new findings on the plane that crashed yesterday.
Lion Air Flight JT610 was on a short flight from Jakarta to Pangkal Pinang when it disappeared from radar. Authorities have recovered 6 bodies from the water. Debris, including life vest and a cell phone, were also found in the sea. The plane was carrying 189 people, including 3 children.
Supporters of Brazil's president-elect Jair Bolsonaro took the streets to celebrate his win last night. The victory of the far-right Bolsonaro ends one of the most violent elections in Brazil's history. Earlier in the campaign, Bolsonaro was stabbed in his stomach last month during a rally. The opposers of the new president-elect do not like his ideas of opening the Amazon rainforest to development. Marathon runners in Italy continued the race after flooding.
Take a look at this video. This marathon was almost turned into a swim. Marathon runners in Venice, Italy, were left wading through ankle-deep water after high tide flooded the course. Spectators did not go home. Ponchos and thick jackets allowed them to stay and cheer for the runners. Despite the difficult conditions, many were able to finish the race.
Residents of Leicestershire, England are mourning after a helicopter crashed outside the King Power Stadium, killing all 5 passengers. The victims include Thai billionaire and owner of the Leicester City Soccer Club, Vichai Srivadana Prabha. The helicopter crashed in the stadium parking lot Saturday night after the game. No one else was injured.
This season, leaves aren't the only things falling.
We'll tell you what locals are doing to celebrate Halloween.
It's not just the players and the coaches that prepare for game day. We'll show you what else needs preparation for game day.
I'll give you a look at this week's forecast as Halloween creeps up on us.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints say that pageants are no more. The church made an announcement Saturday discouraging large productions. Local and community church leaders will work together to end, modify, or continue these productions. The church also says that local celebrations of culture and history can continue.
Hopefully you have had a chance to go to a haunted house or corn maze this Halloween season. But what about a haunted aquarium? Reporter Ashley Young went to check it out. Ashley, what is the haunted aquarium?
Loveland Living Planet Aquarium has been doing the Haunted Aquarium for 8+ years now. It's a great opportunity for families and children to come and get into the Halloween spirit. The aquarium has spooky decorations all around. The theme this year is cryptid animals from around the world. The legendary creatures include the Chupacabra, Yeti, Ahul, and others. Visitors come and try to spot them all.
My favorite part about the Haunted Aquarium this year is talking to people and teaching them about these legendary creatures and then tying it into creatures that we already know about. Helping people see that going out and exploring the world and discovering something is amazing, especially because we're finding new animals all the time. Number of different species have been discovered when people go out looking for something that's legendary, and instead they find an amazing treasure that's right there in their own backyards.
The Haunted Aquarium has special days for trick-or-treating and scavenger hunts. There are also a bunch of times to see creepy, crawly animal presentations to face your fears. All the spooky fun lasts from now until the end of the season. I'm here with Patrick Starr, and we've had such a great time at this Haunted Aquarium. I'm Ashley Young from Newsline.
Visitors can see pumpkins falling from the sky at Hee Haw Farms. That's just one of the activities at the Adventure Park in Pleasant Grove. Reporter Christian Torres tells us about the Smith family organization that helps commemorate the pumpkin drop in honor of a special young man who passed away almost a year ago.
When you bring your kids to Hee Haw Farms, they'll be busy for hours with the corn maze, silo slide, petting farm, hayride, and the list goes on. Once a year, the farm presents the giant pumpkin drop, releasing gourds from the sky that weigh from 500 to 1,000 pounds. The Ellerson family visits the farm every year, even though their dad's on deployment this year. Their nanny, Amber Goody, went up the 14-story crane to drop pumpkins onto an old car, even though she has a fear of heights. The farm is the perfect destination for fall family fun, but there's a deeper story behind this year's 10th anniversary of the pumpkin drop. That story is about Keaton Smith. Almost a year ago, 17-year-old Keaton was on a date when another car hit the Jeep he was riding in. He suffered a brain injury and passed away 5 days later. Everyone remembers Keaton as a loving young man.
He was always worried about everybody and what they were doing and trying to help and smiling and just loving people.
Keaton played football at American Fork High, so to keep his legacy alive, his family has formed a foundation to give scholarships to athletes. This year, the earnings from the pumpkin drop are going towards the Care Like Keat Foundation.
That's why the scholarships mean a lot, is because he cares so much about the people around him.
Before he passed away, Keaton shared in an interview the motto he lives by. His dad still has the recording.
Whenever I'm needing a little bit of my Keaton fix, I play it.
This is what Keaton said.
Just the golden rule, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you.
So when you and your family make your yearly visit to Hee Haw Farms, hopefully you remember the golden rule that Keaton lived by, which still lives on. For Newsline, I'm Chris Torres.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, these were just a few of the costumes seen on runners at the Haunted Half in Provo this weekend. Newsline reporter Sarah Collins went to see the spooky runners. Sarah, what is the Haunted Half?
The Haunted Half is a half marathon in Provo where people can come and run 13.1 miles to the finish line. This spooky event starts at Provo Canyon and ends at the University Mall in Orem. People dress in costumes, and for many, running in a costume is no easy feat.
It's very warm to run. I'm that guy, if it's above 60, I sweat. So yeah, running in a full onesie is not easy to do.
Runners can sign up for the Haunted Half, a 5K, or even a half-mile run for young children. Haunted Halfers load up on buses at 5:45 in the morning and head up to the starting line at Big Springs Park. Before the race begins, people can participate in a costume contest, prepare for the race, and take in the beautiful canyon atmosphere. When they get to the finish line, friends and family come to cheer the runners on, and they are awarded with a medal. Many people will coordinate costumes with their friends.
This is my first race. I've never done one before. These ladies are my inspiration.
The race started in 2013 and has happened every year since. Many sponsors throughout the state support this run, and a charity is chosen to be represented. This year's runners' contributions went to the charity Kids on the Move. The event includes food, games for family and children, pictures, and fun to get people in the Halloween spirit. For many, it's been a tradition for years to run with their friends and family in a fun costume to celebrate the Halloween spirit. Back to you.
If you love crunching leaves, then now is the time to get out and play in those leaves. Utah's beautiful red and yellow leaves are falling quickly this week, and they are everywhere. I would recommend taking time to jump, play, go up in the canyons, and see the leaves before they leave us for good. For me, the worry is getting leaves stuck in my hair, but these leaves are not falling for just any reason. We can see on our map here that this blue line, there's a cold front coming into Utah. Weather will be getting cooler. The temperatures are dropping quite a bit. This low front right here is bringing in this cold front. Our high for today is 61 degrees. We're already hitting that right now with this nice temperature, but today might be that last day because temperatures are quickly dropping. Up in Logan, we have 56 degrees. Down in Moab with 75 degrees. But our lows are what we need to be aware of, dropping into the 30s, 32 degrees down in Provo. Up in Logan, even 27 degrees. And down in this part of Utah, we have about in the mid-40s. Our 5-day forecast for St. George is looking nice at the start of the week, but then it goes lower, but cloudy weather. What's more important is our northern forecast. We have about a 20 degree drop today from today and tomorrow. So be prepared, bring out your winter coats. Halloween is looking like a cooler day, so make sure you're bundled up as you go out trick-or-treating.
Thousands of fans pile into Lavelle Edwards Stadium on game day, but many don't realize the time and dedication that is put into keeping the football field at top notch. Lindsay Peterson is here with more details on how the BYU grounds crew prepares for a football game. Lindsay?
Prepping the football field is no small feat. Just ask Stadium Ground Supervisor John Quist, who makes sure that the Lavelle Edwards Stadium field is near perfect for game day.
A lot of times people have to look twice before they realize it's real grass. Because we maintain it at a really nice high level.
In a typical week leading up to a BYU home football game, Quist will have a crew of 3 people preparing the field full time.
As far as prep time goes, it takes us. We'll work on it the whole week.
John's crew mows the lawn 3 times a week leading up to the 40-man-hour and 2.5-day process of painting the field.
Oftentimes what I'll do on a Wednesday is I'll paint the whole border, and I'll have the whole border done on a Wednesday. And then Thursday we'll do hashes, lines, and numbers. And then on Friday we'll often do the logos.
90 gallons of ready-to-use paint specialized for natural turf is used so it won't damage the grass as much as a regular paint would. So what about the weeks where the weather isn't as hoped for? Quist says his crew tries really hard to be prepared for whatever weather comes their way.
We don't have control over the weather, but we just do our best, and we plan and we prepare, and we start as early as possible. If we see snow coming, we'll get to work, and then we'll cover the field.
When the field doesn't have to be game ready in the off-season, it is aerated about 5 times a year. Also, 100 tons of sand are added to the turf to keep it smooth in preparation for the upcoming season. In Provo, for Newsline, I'm Lindsay Peterson.
Zach Wilson and the BYU Cougars took on Northern Illinois this weekend following their bye week. The Cougars came into this game as slight favorites against NIU, but stellar defense from both teams kept the score low and the game close. BYU fell to NIU 6-7, putting them at 4-4 on the season. We did, however, get possibly the play of the year with freshman quarterback Zach Wilson hurdling over an incoming defender and stiff-arming another on the way down. BYU will face a tough Boise State team next week. Following the tragic death of a University of Utah student, Lauren McCluskey, teams from all over the state of Utah have been holding moments of silence in her honor. BYU's hockey team honored her by wearing ribbons, holding a moment of silence, as well as handing out buttons of her name prior to the game this past Friday. BYU men and women's cross-country teams took first place at the WCC Championships on Saturday. Both teams were able to set new records at the event. The men's team won their 4th consecutive conference championship. The Cougars will compete in the Mountain Region Championships on Friday, November 9th. BYU women's soccer went up against number 6 ranked Santa Clara Saturday night.
And for the 6th time in 7 years, BYU will clinch a WCC title, and they punch the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
The Cougars took down a favored Santa Clara 2-0, taking the WCC Conference Championship. The Cougars automatically will take a spot in the NCAA tournament and to have a shot at the title. BYU will face Loyola Marymount this Saturday before heading into tournament play. The Boston Red Sox are the 2018 World Series champions following a dominant win over the Dodgers last night and taking the series in 5 games.
Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight.
This is the 9th World Series championship for Boston, as well as their first in 5 years. Left fielder Steve Pearce was named MVP following 2 home runs to close out the series. We'll be right back.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
What?
That's your Newsline news for October 29th, 2018.
Thanks for joining us and have a terrific day.